Hello, welcome to episode number 300 and I think it's 45 of the TEW 28 Challenge Run. This is going to be SmackDown for week 2 of March 2023, and we are here in Boston. Let me check that I am... Hey, look, we are. The SNHU Arena is actually Boston. Okay. Well, it isn't actually Boston. It says it's Manchester, New Hampshire, but it's the same section, I guess. Let me check any Boston arenas in here. TD Garden, capacity 19k thing. I guess that one. Okay, yeah. So we're here in Boston. John Cena's on the show, and he's coming back. Batista's on the show, and the build to WrestleMania is going to continue tonight. And with that introduction, I feel like there's no really other further ado we need other than to hop into the show. The American Nightmare. He opens up SmackDown, and he says, "Well, SmackDown, here we are again. The American Nightmare once again returning to the blue brand just a week after Roman Reigns laid out his outline to become the WWE Champion at WrestleMania. I'm here once again. Because you see, the WWE Championship is my target. I'm going to be the man who leaves WrestleMania as the WWE Champion. So, I need to get used to my show. But more importantly than that, I need to speak directly to my opponents at WrestleMania. Seth, Roman. Last week, a lot of things cut deep. A lot of things put into perspective of why this isn't just my desire, my legacy on the line here. This is my goddamn life. And it means a hell of a lot more to me to end your stories just as much as it does to complete mine. Because Seth, you had your moment in the sun. You cost me my opportunity back at SummerSlam. Roman, God knows you've had plenty of opportunities to be the WWE Champion all over your career. But at WrestleMania, I could go through 1,000 men. You can bring Roman, you can bring Seth, you can bring Jimmy, you can bring Jay, you can bring Solo, you can bring Jacob. It don't matter. Because at the end of the night, my final prophecy will be achieved at the expense of you, Seth Rollins, and you, Roman Reigns, and I, the American Nightmare, will be the WWE Champion.
Burn it down!
Out comes Seth with Solo and Jacob Fatu, and he's like, Cody, come on, like, relax, like, first of all, welcome to SmackDown, welcome to my show, okay? I wasn't here last week, I took the week off, being the champion, it takes its toll on you. You wouldn't know, obviously, but Roman came out here and he said some things, and quite frankly, I know I'm way beyond caring about anything Roman Reigns has to say about me, because I think I've proven which of us two is the better man, because I have this and Roman does not. And I have Solo, I have Jacob, Roman does not. The bloodline is in complete and utter shambles because of me, Cody. Your wife still sitting at home, recovering, because of me. You, Cody, you think your story is the greatest story to be told here in WWE. When, if we look at the reality of it, you left. You couldn't cut it. You were a coward, and you ran. You ran away over to form your own world where you could be on top of your game. Where you could be as big of a deal as you wanted. You could live in your father's legacy. But you knew that deep down, you're nothing. You had to create this optical illusion in your own world, your friend's little world, that you were a bigger deal than you actually are. Because when I look at you, Cody, I don't see a WWE champion. I don't see the son of the American dream. I don't even see this fabled American nightmare. I see a scared, insecure, never was, who's just angry that I came to WWE years after he was here and achieved everything that he wanted to achieve while he was dancing around in face paint. And Cody, that wasn't all on me. Dusty had a lot to do with that too. And I didn't have very many supporters back in NXT. Your father was another one of those people who said, Seth, you gotta get your head back in the game, or else you're out of here. Well, I'm still just as damn good as I was back then. So your father didn't know shit. And that's a big red button, of course, Cody. He starts swinging at Seth. And then they start brawling. But Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa are out there with Seth. So then it becomes 3-on-1. Solo and Jacob hold Cody down, ready for the position for the curb stomp. When out rush the Usos. And they get into the ring, they get into the face of Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa. And Seth, he sort of puts his hands up in the air, he grabs his belt, he's like, this ain't my business. This ain't my business. And he leaves. And Solo and Jacob just stare down Jimmy and Jay. And Solo's like, come on. What you gonna do, Oos? You gonna hit me? Huh? What's Roman told you to do, huh? You gonna be Roman's little bitch? He shoves one of them in the face. And then, I'll probably imagine it's actually Jimmy. He shoves in the face. And then Jay, gets OJ Uso on him. Gets really angry. He holds it back. He looks to fire it off. He looks like he's going to go leave. But then, bang, he turns around. He finally drops his own brother with a super kick. Jacob Fatu, he takes it in. He then turns to both Usos. Double super kick to take him down. And then Jay picks up the mic. He goes, well, Oos. This is what you think you're going to do? You disrespect my bloodline? Well, enough is enough, Oos. I don't care who you are. You don't disrespect our bloodline. And he slams the mic down and they leave. So, kind of an all-over-the-place opening. We got the Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes face-to-face segment. And the Usos, after weeks of tension, I guess months with them and Solo, finally lay their hands on their baby brother for the first time. I guess at the behest of Roman Reigns, last week he was like, yeah, this is your problem, not mine, solve it yourself. And I guess that really clicked into the head of Jimmy and Jay that it's time to fight back, this may be blood, but ain't nobody can disrespect the bloodline. Especially not blood. 84 rated opening match. Johnny Gargano, Timothy Thatcher. Just a match that I knew would be good because I wanted to have Gargano wrestle in the opening match on the show. He beats Thatcher 13-27, cross and crab. 86 for Gargano, 75 for Thatcher. That's, a good rating for an 84, because there's no storyline attachment either. But yes, Johnny Gargano picks up the win here tonight.
Damage control. Yeah. We got the power, we got the rage. Control the stage, control the game.
Now comes Bailey, Dakota Kai, Cora Jade. Bailey goes, Johnny, Mrs. Johnny Wrestling, congratulations. Big victory tonight, big victory, it's impressive. But I have a bone to pick with you, Johnny, because You see, last week, me and your wife, you know, the one I'm facing at WrestleMania, the one I'm beating at WrestleMania, your wife, Candice, me and her sort of had a thing in the ring. And this week, you know, Candice said a lot of stuff that, quite frankly, I need to give her a seat. But I hear that she's not here tonight, so Johnny, what's the deal here? And Johnny goes, well, first of all, everything Candice said last week was true. It's not our fault that you're butthurt about hearing the truth. And I'll reiterate that come WrestleMania, WrestleMania, Candice is going to beat your ass and take that SmackDown Women's Championship like she's been needing to do for so goddamn long. But you see, last week I wasn't here, Candice was. You know, it's look after the kid, it takes a lot out there. So Candice, she's at home this week. So unfortunately, you're going to have to wait until next week to give this receipt to Candice that you're so desperate to give her. And then Johnny leaves up the ramp, and he goes, is that it, huh? Wow, what a real man, huh? Give it up for Johnny Wrestling, ladies and gentlemen. But ladies and gentlemen, something didn't really sit right with me. And that's Johnny saying that I'll have to wait till next week. If Candice is going to hide from me, I'll find her. And then Bailey slides out of the ring. And then Cora and Dakota sort of stand around the ring when out comes Roxy Perez. Probably with AJ Lee by her side. And Cora's like getting annoyed. She goes, what, Roxy, you know? Tagging along here. You finally, I see you've got AJ with you. You finally accepted that proposition. And Roxy goes, you know, Cora, I may have lost a lot of respect for you for the way you've gone about your business the last couple of months. But we were best friends. You know we were best friends. So your word still does mean a lot to me. So I was thinking about what you said last week. How when we came to WWE, it was about me and you champions together. And how I should become women's tag team champions. Well, that doesn't sound like such a bad idea, Cora. Me and AJ, for example, here, we'd make great women's tag team champions. And Cora goes, yeah, you would, you know. Me and her haven't really been getting along well lately, but you two still seem to be in good relations. And AJ sort of just looks at Cora. And then Roxy goes, but on second thought, Cora, why would I want to do what you're telling me to do? I've got my entire career to check off my bucket list. I'm going to become Raw Women's Champion, SmackDown Women's Champion, Tag Team Champion, Team with AJ, Wrestle AJ, you name it, it's all on there. But that seems a long way off. What seems more reasonable is making my WrestleMania debut in 3 weeks' time. And what seems even more in reach than that is shutting you up once and for all and taking that championship of yours. And of course, like, whoa, okay, we appear to be straying off the tracks here, Roxy. Okay, like, listen here, I get it, we came in together, but in terms of the WWE SmackDown landscape, I'm a star, you're a nobody. I'm a champion, you're not. Who have you even beat? Like 3 people? Why should I give you a championship opportunity at WrestleMania, huh? Then AJ goes, because you're scared? You know, you wrestled me at No Way Out, no problem. But all of a sudden, Roxy, someone you think has your number, someone who you two very much competing for the exact same spot here in WWE, all of a sudden you're scared to defend your championship, Cora? Do you not want to be at WrestleMania, huh? Because, let me give you some advice. AJ, you know, the AJ, back when you actually, her opinion still mattered to you, she'd look at what you've become and you cheapening out of a WrestleMania match. She wouldn't approve of that. And Cora goes, I'm not cheapening out of anything. You want my championship? Fine. Your funeral. And Roxy goes, great. I'll see you there. And then Roxy goes to leave, and I imagine like Cora shoves her, and then she like gets pushed to the outside of the ring, and then them two brawl outside the ring. AJ's trying to break them up, and like referees and shit come out as well. And they end up just getting pulled to the back. And Dakota Kai's in the ring. She's sort of looking around confused, like, what the heck? And then the lights go out again. Dakota obviously looks like worried. She's like, no, okay, fine, yes, okay, yes, I'll fight you, just leave me alone. And then she slams the microphone down, and then she also leaves to the back. So, damage control altogether tonight, but still, we're branching off into each different story. They've got one collective group story, but then 3 individual stories. It's fine. We have Bayley and Candice at WrestleMania. We now know Cora Jade versus Roxy Perez for the Liberty Championship at WrestleMania. And then Dakota Kai against Asuka at WrestleMania. Speaking of WrestleMania, we then get backstage. And then the Usos are walking through the hallway, and Kate's like, Jimmy, Jake, I get a word, after months and months and months, you finally laid your hands on your brother, Solo Sikoa, after everything he did to your bloodline, what's changed? He goes, what's changed, Kayla? The dynamic here in WWE. I don't know if you've noticed the bloodline. It ain't what it used to be. Jacob's gone. Roman ain't champion anymore. It's up to us to fix our problem. Roman's gonna solve his at WrestleMania. And so are we. I don't care who it is. It could be Solo, it could be Jacob. You don't mess with the bloodline, Us. And when you do, you gotta step to us, the ones. How about the Usos, the greatest WWE tag team of this generation, against Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa in a tag team match at WrestleMania? And then Paul Heyman walks in, he's on the phone, he goes, I've just got off the phone with my tribal chief. First of all, he says, what a wonderful, wonderful war of words between the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes and the WWE Champion Seth Rollins to kick off the show. But this, no matter if he's champion or not, Seth Rollins, is not your show. This is Roman Reigns' show, and he will be back on his show next week to give you a piece of his mind. But as for you boys, Roman tasked you last week to solve your problem, to get this bloodline back on track. It takes more than just him becoming the WWE champion once again. It takes teamwork. And at WrestleMania, those two traitors are going to regret the day they turned their back on their tribal chief to align with Seth freaking Rollins, because the Usos, Jimmy and Jay, have never been stronger, and they are going to take them down. A 6-rated tag match. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens teaming up against the Fritz brothers of the Paragon. So imagine the scenario is obviously Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn don't come out together. They don't even want to really be teaming together. Sami stands on the apron. Kev starts the match. And Kev's doing alright. Like 2-on-1. Obviously we know he got outmatched last time he tried this. But now he actually does have Sami in his corner. But Sami, he's been a bit weird recently, Is he going to do what's right? What is right, Both Kevin Owens and Adam Cole have got in his head. And I imagine Sammy's like, he's calling for the tag like a couple of times. He doesn't get the tag. But then Owens gets knocked down. And then he crawls to make the hot tag to Sammy. And Sammy just sort of sits there and he just shakes his head. And he just takes a step back and steps on the ring steps to stop Kev from getting the tag. And Kev's like, what the hell? And then the Fritzes gang up on Owens, keep attacking him. Probably a referee bump in there somewhere as well. When all 4 members of the Paragon then leave Kevin Owens laying. And they hold him up in position for the last shot. And Adam Cole starts screaming in his face. He goes, this is it. This is the end of you, Kevin. He grabs a steel chair, wraps it around Kevin Owens' neck. Then he bounces off the ropes. And then, as he turns around, Sammy catches him with an exploder suplex. Bobby Roode charges at him. Sammy ducks the clotheslines him over the top rope, sends him packing. And then, after he takes down both the Fritz brothers with clotheslines, he hops back onto the apron and he reaches out and he makes the tag. He runs wild on the Fritzes. And then eventually, Haluva kick to David Fritz. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens win. 84 for Kevin and Sammy. 70 for David Fritz. And 77 for Kevin Fritz. So yeah, it appears Sammy has decided what he thinks the right thing to do here is. And he takes the mic and he goes, hey Cole. You know, I've always respected you. You've got all the talent in the world, and you're somebody that I would have loved to have aligned myself with. But you've taken this way too far. Sure, Kevin Owens may be a scumbag, he may be a traitor, but this isn't the way. And for the way you've gone about things, I can't justifiably sit back here and let it continue. So, Adam and Bobby, how about it? The Paragon versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn on the grandest stage of them all. And Adam Cole goes, you know, Sammy, I love you, you know. I do, I really do. So it pains me that you've made this decision. You think you're doing what's right, Sammy? You're not. And after WrestleMania, once Kevin Owens betrays you yet again, and you lose, I'm not going to be here to pick you back up. That's on you to deal with. Because you trusted this man to do the right thing. So I'll see you both at WrestleMania, boys. Let's see how you can coexist. Then head backstage. Swerve and Swerve alone is in the Hit Row production room getting ready for tonight. He's gonna cut a promo tonight or something. And then he's like, where the hell is everybody? And then Ashanti, Top Dollar, Beef and Riddle walk in late. I'm like, sorry we're late, Swerve, we were just, catching up on some stuff with our best bro Riddle here. And Swerve goes, why? I know. Last week, if we learned this, we know. I never defended my United States Championship last week. People are calling me a coward. Top Dollar. You know people don't like calling me a coward. I don't like it when people call me a coward. And quite frankly, it makes me sick to my stomach. I had a beaten Warden one-on-one, you know? And then Riddle's like, eh. And Swerve just glares at him. Like, sorry bro, I'll shush. I could have beaten Warden one-on-one. I'm the greatest damn United States champion you've ever seen. But because of Brock Lesnar, nobody's talking about me. People are saying, Swerve didn't deserve it. Swerve never won it fair. Swerve didn't defend it. I'm the Swerve Scott. The championship being on me makes it special. And if you don't believe me, just watch what we're going to make out there tonight. We then get a recap of the Raw stuff with Bianca and Pierce and Utami. When, it's just a video recap of all that segment and stuff. And then we cut to Gorilla, Kayla's in Gorilla with Bianca and Utami. She goes, ladies, congratulations on the WrestleMania gig. Bianca Belair versus Utami Hayashishita, Raw versus SmackDown, franchise player. But tonight you're going to team up against Toxic Attraction. And Bianca goes, girl, As we just saw with Kevin and Sammy, you know, sometimes when you're teaming with somebody that you can't stand, that makes that tag team less effective, and it is a question of can that team really coexist? It gets said around here a lot, but it's true to some degree. But I respect the hell out of this woman. Ever since me and her been on the rise at the same time, she's been over on SmackDown, I've been over there on Raw. We never really crossed paths. So at WrestleMania, me and her were going to tear the goddamn house down to decide which one of us is the best here in the women's division. But tonight, I'm back here on Blue. I'm on her show. And it's time we go kick some ass. And then the tag match begins. Bianca and Utami against Toxic Attraction. Gets an 82, which is good considering it has JC Jane and Mandy Rose in it, who are not scoring as high as Utami and Bianca Belair, as you can imagine. What I imagine the finish here is Utami has been wrestling Toxic Attraction a lot since she came over to SmackDown. So she's sort of on top of her game, she knows what to do, she knows how to get the job done. And then Bianca tags herself in towards the end, and she runs Wyatt, she hits the fucking handspring moonsault or whatever, KOD to JC Jane to pin her. And she celebrates, like she gets on the top of it, she starts swinging her braid around. And music's playing, and Utami's over stood in the corner, like, what the fuck? Like, this is my show, like, what are you doing? And she's like, oh, sorry, you know, we won. And she's like, yeah, you know, yeah, we did. And Becky goes, girl, you know, why don't you look so happy, you know, we won. Make a quick recap video. EO and I imagine it's like the old NXT EO vignettes. They're she's like in like dark fiery lighting or whatever, and then they're in Japanese subtitled, and it's reacting to Kyrie's cryptic pirate video from last week. And she says, Kyrie saying, you don't scare me. At WrestleMania, I'm gonna be the one to end your dreams here once and for all, because I'm the top of this women's division. I always was and I always will be. And that's just the way things go with us, Kyrie. You're number 2, I'm number 1. And if you got the balls to show up next week, then I'll happily see you there. Then head out to the ring. Hit Row and Matt Riddle come out. And Swerve goes, right, check it. I'm United States Champion Swerve Scott. And we've got some stuff to take care of here tonight. So last week, my scheduled United States Championship rematch with Warden, the old champion, was going to take place. But it never did because Brock Lesnar, once again, I guess he hates Warden for God knows what reason. Better him than me. Brock Lesnar came out and attacked Warden and left him laying. And I never defended my United States Championship. And people have been calling me a coward. People have been accusing me of being behind this. You think I have the power to boss around Brock Lesnar? Brock does what he wants. But I'm nothing. I'm not a paper champion. I'm anything but a paper champion. And I'll defend this title against anywhere and anytime against anyone. And that doesn't matter in the current freezing cold or in the hot sun. It don't matter, because Hit Row gonna get it done. And then Top Dollar and Ashanti and B-Fab sort of like watching on in the background. They're sort of like looking around awkwardly. And Swerve goes, what's on your mind? Riddle goes, I'll tell them, bro. It's you, bro. You've changed, bro. Swerve goes, how? Because, you know, you used to be cool. And like Hit Bro used to be a thing, you know, we've got them shirts made, and it was awesome, bro. And like I've tried to overlook like your stuff for so long, bro, but you cheated at No Way Out. You cheated last week. Bro, I'm just wondering, like, do you even deserve to hold this championship? And Swerve goes, pardon, I thought we were brothers. Where has this come from, Riddle? And he goes, I'm just saying, bro, like, you know, kind of a lame way to go about defending that championship, if you ask me. And so of course, well, you're the one who accepted a match against Warden on my behalf, so get over it, huh? You begged and pleaded and begged and pleaded. I hated your guts. And I told you straight to your face, I do not like you. You will not be a part of Hit Row. Hit Row will never, ever be a thing. But there you were every time I turned, like a shadow, following my every move. And now you want to sit here and disrespect the United States Champion for keeping a hold of his championship? You know, why are you even here? Why don't you just leave? Why don't you stop talking to me and let me do my thing, and you, I guess you can go back to Velocity. Because there's only room for one Hit Bro here, and it ain't your crappy Hit Bro. It's me, and it's this United States Championship. And then Riddle sort of looks weird. He sort of looks sad, like he's just been annoyed by what Swerve had to say. And then, bang, he jumps Swerve from behind. He pulls the trigger. Matt Riddle attacks Swerve, leaves him laying with the Bro Derek. And then the rest of Hit Row, I imagine, sort of like watch on, like awkwardly. Like, they don't break it up, they don't join in, they just sort of like watch along awkwardly. And Riddle goes, Bro, you think this Hit Bro meant the world to me. It breaks my heart to see you like this. And if taking that United States Championship off you was the only way to stop it, then bro, you're looking at the next champion. And then Matt Riddle storms out, and Top Dollar and Ashanti and B-Fab follow him out. Like, hey, what the hell, bro? What the hell? Then get a quick follow-up segment with DKE and Fallon and them boys. I don't really know the specifics of this one, because like most of this story will advance after WrestleMania. But I need to fill 2 minutes of time, and I promised last week that they'd go on a date or some shit, so I guess they're just back at the restaurant. Brooks Jensen's being Brooks Jensen, and Otis is teaching him etiquette and manners and shit. And Brooks is teaching Otis how to eat properly, and you know, there's progress here. There's progress, is all I can say. 70 raid match. Bobby Lashley beats Cameron Grimes with the Hurt Lock in 5 minutes. 84 for Bobby Lashley, 71 for Cameron Grimes. They have pretty good chemistry, so you know, maybe when Grimes is doing something a little different than he is right now, this could actually be a match that does alright. But for now, Bobby Lashley needed to quickly just beat somebody on the show. Cameron Grimes seemed like the perfect foil for that, because, well, I know what he's gonna go into soon, so he's allowed to keep losing. After the match, MVP takes the mic and he goes, Man, this WrestleMania card is dumb. Because you see, you got all these matches, 2 nights, and you got no room for the almighty Bobby Lashley. You got room for a lot of other people, but not the almighty Bobby Lashley, and I'm tired of this disrespect. If you can't find room on 2 nights of WrestleMania for a man like the almighty, then quite frankly, you're not very good at your job. So here's the challenge. Whoever is back there that thinks they can hang with the almighty at WrestleMania, let yourself be known. Out comes LA Knight, and he goes, Let me talk to you. You see, MVP, you know, you're not entirely incorrect. Bobby Lashley is good, he's a hell of a competitor. They don't call him the almighty for no reason. But there's one thing that is wrong, and that's saying that you can't have a guy like the almighty Bobby Lashley not featured at WrestleMania. Nana! There's only one person here on SmackDown who's not featured at WrestleMania that you can't have a show without, and that's L.A. Knight. Yeah! So how about it, big man? If your balls are as big as your abs, you'll accept my challenge. The megastar, L.A. Knight, will see you at WrestleMania, 1-on-1. Yeah! And then he goes, The Almighty accepts your challenge. So, Bobby Lashley and LA Knight, I needed a kickoff match for the second night of WrestleMania. I had one for night 1. It's going to be the Cruiserweight Trios title match. But, like, looking at my card, I'd had this blank spot left in for like months. I was like, oh, I have no idea. I'll fill that in as it gets closer to the time. And then it got closer to the time. I was like, huh, all these people are accounted for. I looked at Bobby Lashley and LA Knight on SmackDown and went, they could probably both do with something. So yeah, we're going to randomly throw together LA Knight versus Bobby Lashley for WrestleMania. And I'm alright with this one being thrown together because, it's a kickoff match. It doesn't have to have some sort of deep story. It's just two people that want to be on the show. It's not like this is the main event or anything. The main event of WrestleMania gets fucking 18 months worth of build-up, but this can have 3 weeks, it's fine. Speaking of WrestleMania, last week we learned that Ricochet and Bronson Reed were defending their SmackDown Tag Team Championships on the show against Daniel Bryan and Cesaro. And this is Kayla. She goes, last week, Bryan and Cesaro challenged you to a match at WrestleMania for the Tag Team Championship. You accepted the challenge, you shook their hands, How are you feeling facing two of the very best in WWE today for the Tag Team titles at WrestleMania? And Ricochet goes, I know a lot of people are going to look at this as a mismatch. In both regards. On one hand, you've got Daniel Bryan and Cesaro. They are two of the very best when it comes to in that ring in WWE today and possibly of this generation. But they ain't as gelled as me and the Thick Boy here. You see, sure they go way back. They've known each other for like over 20 years. But they've only really started teaming together in the last few months. Me and Ronnie here, we're a more established unit. So if you want to look at it in that regard, we're the favourites heading into WrestleMania, but then it can also have the regard of, this is a WrestleMania main eventer and Daniel Bryan. This is Cesaro last year, who wrestled for the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania, and us two, we were fighting on the pre-show. So, on that regard, you could give the edge to Daniel Bryan and Cesaro. Who's going to win at WrestleMania? Well, obviously I think we're going to win. Obviously Bryan and Cesaro are going to think they're going to win. But I'll tell you one thing that's for sure, Kay, no matter who wins, this is going to be a big moment and a big match for these SmackDown Tag Team Championships on the worldwide stage. And ain't that what matters here? Ain't this about respect and about these championships? On that night, the better team will win. And on that night, the losers will respect the winning team. You gotta tune in to find out who it's gonna be. Oh my god. I knew this was gonna be great. That's why I did it. It's only Logan and Drew Gulak against Daniel Bryan and Cesaro in tag team action off that segment. Gets a 98. Because of course it does. Daniel Bryan and Cesaro beat Drew Gulak and Oney Lorcan. Bryan beats Oney with the running knee in 14:47. 76 for Oney Lorcan. 91 for Drew Gulak. 94 for Daniel Bryan and 93 for Cesaro. So yeah, we did technically see every member of that trio because Thatcher wrestled Johnny Gargano earlier on tonight, and now this, one of the greatest tag team matches we've ever seen on WWE television, takes place with Bryan and Cesaro picking up the win. And if that don't get you hyped for WrestleMania, then I don't know what to tell you. Speaking of WrestleMania, we then cut back to the Gargano household. We saw it a lot in NXT, the way and all that. But we cut like it's like a close up of like a baby and like a spoon being fed into his mouth. And we pan out and it's obviously Candace feeding her and Johnny's baby. She like takes the napkin, like tidies his mouth up, just doing mother duties and stuff. When the bell rings, she's like, "Huh? Quill? Who could that be?" Dog's barking. Like, I don't know. We weren't expecting a guest tonight. She opens up. There's some delivery man. She's like, "Oh, that's a package for Miss LeRae." She goes, "Okay. Well, where's it from exactly? I don't remember ordering anything." And he goes, "Oh, I just need you to sign for it here." She goes, "Well, if it's got my name on it, I guess I'll take it in." And then she takes the box in, opens the box up, and Bailey jumps out. It's like, ding dong, dummy. And then Bailey and Candace brawl around her and Johnny's living room. Like, she gets thrown into the TV smashes and shit like that. The dog's barking and going crazy. The baby's at the dinner table crying his eyes out. And Bailey probably beats up Candace in front of the baby. leaves her laying on the kitchen floor or something like that. And then she'd probably get in the face of the baby and be like, what you just saw will probably have scarred you. I'm sorry for that, but your mom needed that receipt. And if I were you, I wouldn't watch WrestleMania. 'Cause mommy's gonna have her heart broken. Mommy's dreams are gonna go up in flames. And Aunt Bailey will still be the SmackDown Women's Champion. And then Bailey leaves a broken home. Literally, in this regard, instead of like the 5 metaphorical broken home storylines I've got going on right now. But yes, I need another extra thing to spice up. Candice clapped back at Bailey big time last week, and I guess Bailey wasn't having that. She mailed herself. No, well, not really. Obviously, she just bought a box and got in it and paid some guy to be a delivery driver. She didn't actually mail herself, because that would be silly. But I needed a way to get her to the house for a brawl, because I wanted to do a brawl around the Gargano household, because that sounded fun. Speaking of sounding fun, out comes Warden. And he goes, I know what you're thinking. Warden, when you're going to get that United States Championship back. And trust me, one day you will see that championship around my waist once again. But I've got more important things to deal with. Brock Lesnar. I don't know what your issue is with me. No Way Out, you attacked me. You cost me the United States Championship. Last week you attacked me. Cost me my United States Championship. I don't know what your bone to pick with me is, but I ain't gonna sit back here and take it anymore. I ain't scared of you, Brock. Get your ass out here and let's sort this out like men. Instead of Brock Lesnar, out comes Batista. We did advertise that he'd be here next week, WWE Hall of Fame 2023 headline class act Batista. And he says, so you're the guy, huh? You're the guy I've heard all the hype about. Warden, they call you. This guy, they say, is the next Dave Batista. And when I first saw you come along, you with Tyler Breeze, I didn't see it, If anything, you reminded me of Deacon Batista, and nobody wants to be reminded of Deacon Batista. But in this past year, you've come into your own as one of the very top stars here in WWE. United States Champion, dominant for so long. But I see a problem here. And it's a problem that needs to be addressed. And that's actually why I offered Hunter to come here tonight. To tell it to you face to face. You made one big mistake and you got one thing very wrong. I know Brock Lesnar. Me, John, Randy, and him, we know each other. Over 20 years. I can tell you with no doubt in my mind, Warden, you said that Brock Lesnar doesn't like you. That is not true. Brock Lesnar probably doesn't dislike you. He doesn't like you. But his opinion on you is not based on his personal preferences. Brock Lesnar does not respect you. You see, Brock Lesnar, on top of his game for over 20 years, he's seen many big guys come and go. Hell, I know I was one of them. And to see a guy like you laughing in his face at the Royal Rumble, he didn't respect that. And that's why Brock Lesnar's taken issue with you, Warden. The question is, What are you gonna do about it? As somebody who knows Brock Lesnar. Warden, I'll tell you what I want you to do. I want you to lay me out right now. Lay me out, hit those devastating power bombs. 1, 2, 3 of them, as many as you want. Make me regret coming out here and getting in your face and telling you this. Leave me laying here within an inch of my life. Because that way, Brock Lesnar would respect you. Pick me up, slam me down, scream into the camera, take that microphone, and demand Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. Because if you want Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, you want to avenge Brock Lesnar for everything he's done to you, you have to prove that you're willing to stoop to his level. And the only way to stoop to his level is to lay down somebody who you respect. Lay me out, and Brock Lesnar will come coming. And Warden's like, well, what the fuck? Well, okay. And obviously he's hesitant because this is Batista, you know. Like, why would he randomly decide he wants to beat up Batista? And he like, I can't do it, Dave, I can't. And then Batista's like, exactly what I thought. Brock Lesnar was right to not respect you. And neither do I. And then that of course, Warden does snap. And he goes, because people said you were just like a young Batista. Young Batista wouldn't have stood for this disrespect. So I guess we all misjudged. And then we get careless of Warden's face. He like bites his lip. He's like getting angry. And then he turns around, he drops Batista with a clothesline. And then he picks him up, powerbomb, powerbombs him 3 times, rips his shirt off, and he goes, grabs the microphone, he's like, Brock! Do I have your attention now? If you've got the guts to show up and face me, I'll see you at WrestleMania. Slams the microphone down on the floor. And then he goes to leave again. And then as he goes to leave, Batista gets to his feet. And then Warden's like on the ramp. Batista gets his feet. And they sort of give each other a look. Batista gives a nod to Warden. He's like, not bad, kid. I'm sure you'll be hearing from the Beast. They got backstage. Matt Riddle. Pissed off Matt Riddle. Top Dollar and Ashanti and B-Fab chase after him. Like, what the hell, bro? What the hell, bro? He's like, no, bro. What? You stop this, okay? I heard it from you, and you. Swerve, what he's doing ain't right, bro. I know that's your guy, that's your homie, that's your bro, for lack of a better term. He was mine too, bro. But enough is a goddamn enough. You're gonna sit back there and let Swerve keep doing what he's doing? Fine. But I ain't gonna do that, bro. In fact, I'm gonna be the one to take that United States Championship from at WrestleMania, bro. And I advise that sooner or later you wise enough to what's going on here, bro, because he don't respect you 3 either. You're merely there to watch his back, bro. And then angry Matt Riddle walks off, and Top Dollar, Ashanti, and B-Fab are like, whoa, calm down, bro. $63. This had no business getting a 63, but okay. La French Connection. You know, this is still a feud stemming from their interaction 2 weeks ago. Last week it was Violet Matot against Thea Hale. This week it's David Matot, Idris Inoue, et Malik Lade, defeating Chase Hughes, Andre Chase, Shane Reynolds, and Bodie Hayward, when Idris Inoue pins Shameless Shane Reynolds. 25 for Bodie, 43 for Shane, 61 for Andre Chase, 50 for Malik, 41 for Idris Inoue, and 68 for David Matot. And, of course, these two, one man called Andre and one man who is French, both think they are the right choices to win the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. We did learn on Raw that Baron Corbin will be in the match as well. I guess he's put in double duty at WrestleMania. But yeah, those are the only 3 confirmed participants for the match so far: Andre Chase, David Matar, and Baron Corbin. We then see Cameron Grimes back in his locker room. I imagine the scene is like because he's Cameron Grimes, he's got like a proper pimped out locker room because he's got the money, and I can imagine he's actually got like a servant or like a waitress or someone. Me, he goes, "Welcome back, Cameron," and he goes, "Don't you welcome back me. I should be over the goddamn. I say I'm going to the moon. I should be over it. Look at this penthouse. All this money, it ain't even funny. Well, it ain't funny. Because despite having all this, I still can't seem to win. So I gotta take a step back and reevaluate what is Cameron Grimes' next move. Because something's gotta change here. Because I've been getting humiliated week in and week out since I came to SmackDown. So, what's it gonna be? Cameron Grimes, think about it, Cameron, think. And then we sort of just ponder on Cameron Grimes, like thinking to himself. Because he has been very down his luck recently. And we really need to figure out what is next for Cameron Grimes. Because, you know, he's right, you know. He does have all that money, but it can't buy him success, I guess. Next week, though, we do have a pretty decently sized show, because it is announced that Seth freaking Rollins, the WWE Champion, once again will address the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns ahead of WrestleMania 39, the main event that has been brewing for many months. Seth's going to have his next say on that whole scenario. But then cutting over to action, we have LA Knight, yeah, taking on the Hurt Business's Ronnie Hughes in singles action ahead of LA Knight's impromptu sudden match with Bobby Lashley at the WrestleMania kickoff show. We then have the return of the Beast. Brock Lesnar will speak for the first time since No Way Out. And after what we just saw Warden do, leaving Batista, WWE Hall of Famer to be, laying in the ring. Maybe that caught the attention of the Beast Incarnate. And then finally, you want to talk 5-star classics. You want your 30-minute classics. Not me. I just want 2 big, meaty men bumping meat. And that's what we're going to get next week ahead of the Tornado Tag Team match at WrestleMania. The Revolution's Nebo Barnes and Big E of the New Day. One-on-one. And what sure is to be beefy. But moving on from next week's SmackDown, WrestleMania continues to take shape, starting with a tag team match. Reluctant tag team partners Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens are still not friends. They still don't trust each other, but they do have a common enemy, that being Adam Cole and Bobby Roode of the Paragon. And they're going to be 2-on-2 in tag team action on the grandest stage of them all in Tampa in just over 3 weeks' time. And speaking of WrestleMania, there's going to be a championship bout added to the show, when a personal rivalry, former best friends collide, Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade, for the Women's Liberty Championship. It's sure to be a star-making performance for one of these young women, both making their WrestleMania debut, who will come out on top in that Liberty Championship match. But then the third and final singles match for Damage Control was announced earlier on tonight, when after months of mysterious stalking, Asuka finally steps out of the shadows and faces off with Dakota Kai one-on-one on the grandest stage of them all. Let's see. It could be a big night for Damage Control, or it could end in disaster. Who knows? We have to wait just over 3 weeks to find out. But speaking of tag team action, family turmoil officially boiled over as Jimmy and Jey Uso finally put their hands on their brother Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu, the men who turned their backs on their entire bloodline. Roman Reigns, he says he's going to get the job done in his WrestleMania main event. Let's see if the Usos can also deliver victory for the bloodline against their two traitors on the grandest stage of them all. And then finally, speaking of traitors, Hit Bro is no more. Matt Riddle had heard enough, seen enough from Isaiah Swerve Scott, and he vows to be the man to take the United States Championship from the Hit Bro leader at WrestleMania. All of those matches and still more to come for the grandest stage of them all in just over 3 weeks' time. 22 days to be exact, in Tampa. Okay, that's fine. 81 for this is the main event match. The main event segment is John Cena, of course, but I thought this match would be fine. In the main event, it's Liv Morgan and Toni Storm, one-on-one. They get an 81, which is good. And yeah, Toni picks up the win. I put via distraction by Ruby Riott, but I guess TEW just said fuck that. Oh, so I also put yeah, that's my bad. I also put decisive finish, so I guess it just rolled a dice. 73 for Liv, 80 for Toni, and yeah. But the Ruby Riott interference is important because then that will then set up this following angle where Ruby and Toni can attack Liv. Shida runs out with the Singapore cane, the kendo stick, but the 2-on-1 advantage is still not enough. Then out Storm Trish and Lita once again. Chick Kick takes down Ruby. Twist of Fate takes down Toni. And then I imagine Shida and Liv are like recovering in corner. Trish and Lita sort of look at each other, look down at the floor, see the tag titles on the floor. Pick them up. Hold them in their hands. Have a look around at them. Then hand them back to Shida and Liv. Before leaving. And saving the day of the Women's Tag Team Champions. John Cena is back. The GOAT. Greatest of all time. And he says, Boston, it's always a pleasure. You know, growing up here, aspirations of one day making it big. It's been so long now that you forget where I came from. But this building, this city, will always have a special place in my heart, mean the world to me. Now, there are a lot of WWE superstars around here that some I've wrestled, some I haven't. But WrestleMania is shaping up to be one hell of a show. You got 3 of this generation's greatest. You got Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes, battling it out for the top prize in this company. You got Bayley and Candice for the SmackDown Women's title. Over on Raw, you've got a fatal 4-way for the World Heavyweight Championship. You've got Nova and Charlotte. Everywhere you turn, there's just stars, 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 stars. And it got me wondering, does WrestleMania look the same without John Cena? Do we need John Cena at WrestleMania 39? Because as much as I love coming out here and doing my thing for all, I'm kind of a busy guy right now. And the WWE roster nowadays is more stacked than I ever remember it being. So, the roster of the show will do fine, whether or not I'm involved. That being said, I'd quite like to be at WrestleMania. John Cena, bright lights one last time. Maybe you never know how many more of these you got. And I'm free right now. And I'll be free for the next 3 weeks. So, John Cena, WrestleMania. If you want some, come get some. Out comes Carmelo Hayes and Trick. And he goes, he doesn't say anything, he just walks to the ring, gets in John Cena's face, like stares him down, takes John Cena's microphone, and goes, Boston, your true hero has arrived. Mr. Money in the Bank himself, Carmelo Hayes. Now you see, John, I don't think we've met. From one Bostonian to another, allow me to bestow upon you this piece of information. Since I've arrived here in WWE, I've been on quite the roll. I've beaten 12, count them, 12, no, 11 even. 11, count them, 11 former world champions since I got here. Edge, beat him. Keith Lee, beat him. Seth Rollins, beat him. Dolph Ziggler, beat him. Baron Corbin, beat him. Otis, beat him. Big E, beat him. Kofi Kingston, beat him. Daniel Bryan, beat him. When does it end? I'll tell you when, John. And he opens the briefcase up, and he keeps the checklist of all the champions he's beaten out. And he just tears it in half. And he goes, 'cause the end is near. Your time is up. My time is now. Because I'm telling you how this is going to go. You claim you're 16-time world champion. You're possibly the greatest of all time. Any WrestleMania card will look better having you won it, John. You've got that right. But a WrestleMania without the A-champ, Mr. Money in the Bank. Now, quite frankly, that's a little absurd. So here's what we're going to do, John. I mean, if it's alright with you, me and you, man to man, we're gonna do the damn thing at WrestleMania. I'ma beat you 1, 2, 3, cement my legacy as one of the greatest here in WWE, and finish my little checklist, 'cause you'll be my number 12. And that seems as good a time as any to end. Because then, when I hit number 13, well, then he holds the briefcase up. He's like, that'll be my lucky number. And Cena goes, of course I know you. You think I don't keep tabs on what's going on around here? A Boston homeboy. Mr. Money in the Bank, future world champion. One of the brightest young rising stars here in WWE. But listen, kid. You're far from the first person to try and call their shot against John Cena at WrestleMania. And you probably won't be the last. You know, throughout the years, people saw me as the big dog in the fight. They thought, if I can beat him, I can make a name for myself. It's high risk, high reward. Because you see, over the years, I've kind of developed a little bit of a reputation of beating people. Names that you recognize and some that you probably don't recognize. And that's how you know I'm getting old, that there's kids watching that don't recognize half these names. You either make it or you don't. Wrestling John Cena can catapult your career to new heights. Unforeseen. But if you call your shot and you miss, well, then you never get the chance to shoot again. And you become a footnote in history, you become a trivia question. And Mello just laughs, he goes, that's where me And all those other young guys that have called their shop differ, John. I don't miss. I'm looking at you, our hometown crowd, behind us both. Eye to eye, man to man. I'm telling you, I want you at WrestleMania. And Cena goes, you know what, kid? You're good. You're very good. And I'd hate to, take Mr. Money in the Bank and, put him in the dirt like I've done before many times. But you're talking a big game. And at this stage of my career, I want to see if you can back it up. So you want it? You want Carmelo Hayes and John Cena at WrestleMania? You want Boston v. Boston, future versus past, then versus now, the champ and the A-champ, me versus him? I will see you there. And John Cena leaves. Then we just get a lingering camera shot on Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams on the ramp, or in the ring as John Cena walks up the ramp. I guess it's on. John Cena will be wrestling at WrestleMania this year, taking on Carmelo Hayes, one-on-one. As a 90 rated SmackDown, I knew this was going to be a long episode, because I had that John Cena angle, I had the opening angle, I had the Gargano Bailey damage control angle, I had the Bailey home invasion angle, and there's just a lot of long angle is what I'm saying. The hip bro stuff, yeah. So I knew that was going to go over an hour. And how could I forget Batista, of course. But hopefully it was all worth it. I think a lot progressed. I think this was a busy week of television. Both, of course, Raw and SmackDown. A lot progressed. But speaking of progressing, because we have hit a roadblock in our, as we chug along towards finding out the Cruiserweight Trios champion contenders at WrestleMania. Because Legado de la Sombra, who was supposed to be in the match tonight against Evan Bourne, and Terminal Velocity, he tore his was it pec? Wacky and Wild? He tore something. He's out for 7 months. So, we're going to have to address that and find our new challenges. And we'll do that on the other side of this. Velocity kicks off a 69 rated match. The weekly Roderick Strong random match, I guess. This one doesn't do as good as the others do, because he's against Oro Mensah, NXT guy, and not an actual established Velocity talent. But Roderick Strong beats him, 426 stronghold, 73 for Roddy, 48 for Oro. Gimmick that's getting stale. I guess that's why Roddy's individual performance was lacking, I should say, compared to what he normally does. Or is it Kyle? I can't remember how Roddy normally scores. I think is he normally like 80s? I know Kyle O'Reilly's the one who normally gets in the 90s. But 73 does seem like low compared to what Roddy normally gets. Anyway. Then we get Zelina and Andrade in the ring. And she has to break the heartbreaking news about Wacky and Wild being out for 7 months and ruining Legado's chance at becoming the Trios champions at WrestleMania. Because now they can't, because there's only 2 members of them. But where with setback comes opportunity, and this is now Andrade's chance to focus on becoming the next Cruiserweight champion. And he gets an 85 rated match with Clark Connors, who is yet to be renamed. He's in NXT Japan. I haven't renamed him yet. Obviously I will have to if he gets called up at some point. 56 for Clark Connors, 94 for Andrade. Match gets an 85, which is very good. So, I guess we have another random gatekeeper cruiserweight guy to put on bangers with lower card people. But the upper card of Velocity is now becoming really good. It's got, obviously Dom, It's got Andrade, Kyle O'Reilly, Wes Lee, all these people that could have these banging matches. Speaking of Wes Lee, the former Cruiserweight champion, our main event gets a 73. And it's MSK, Wes Lee, Leslie Young, and Tristan Ellison defeating the Lady Killers, Zachary Ben-Shahar, Gregor Ferguson, and Sid Cottrell. Just as a thrown together make-good replacement, where the winning team of this match will now face off with Evan Bourne and Terminal Velocity next week to determine the real Trios Championship #1 contenders, providing nobody gets injured again. But yes, 75 for Wes, 59 for Leslie, 57 for Tristan, 70 for Zachary Ben-Shahar, 57 for Gregor Ferguson, and a 33 for Sid Cottrell. And that ends Heat. No, it doesn't. It ends Velocity. We have 76. That's whatever. It's Velocity. It doesn't matter. Well, that's more of what you thought of SmackDown, ideally. And yeah, I'll see you next time for Raw, which will have... What have we announced of Raw? Oh, Logan Paul's back. And some other stuff. See you then.